What pops in your head when you hear the words comfort food? Some may think of a hearty Italian meal, while others think of cake balls, Oreos, or cupcakes. To me, the ultimate comfort food is gooey chocolate brownies. Today, I will show you how to make delicious milk chocolate brownies. The first recipe for brownies dates back to the 1896 Boston Cooking School cookbook for molasses cake baked in individual pans, which is not even close to the brownies that we eat today. They were named for their brown color. Some contend that they may have originated when baking powder was inadvertently left out of a chocolate cake batter, resulting in cake that didn't rise but tasted great. I'm sure that everyone has tasted a brownie or two in their lifetime. They are served at all sorts of events with no regard to the type. Birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving socials, any of those are great examples. Typically, brownies are relatively easy to make. The ingredients are inexpensive and easy to find at any local grocery store. Ever since I was young, I've always loved brownies. I have made countless batches in my lifetime. I make them every year at Christmas time, and especially when my friends and I have girls' nights. I will show you how to make them from the box mix. It is a simple mix, and I will show you how to properly mix, bake, and cool a batch of brownies. The first step in baking brownies is to gather all your necessary ingredients. First, I usually buy a box of brownie mix. I have only made homemade brownies once, and it was a disaster. So from now on, I usually buy the box mix as a base. They're different brands, but I always use the Pillsbury. Next, you will also need 2 to 3 eggs, depending on how cakey you want your brownies. If you use 2 eggs, they'll end up more gooey. If you use 3, they'll end up more like a cake. You will also need to use cooking oil and water. You will need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and make sure you grease your pan before starting anything. That way, the grease has time to sit in the pan and won't mix in with your mix whenever you put the mix into the pan. And the oven needs to be preheated so that whenever you are done mixing, that it's just easy to put them right into the oven. Greasing the pan helps the brownies not stick once they have been cooked. The second step is to mix all the ingredients together in a large mixing bowl. You want to use a large bowl so that the mixture, when you're mixing it, it won't spill over and it causes it to be mixing very well. I tend to mix the eggs in a smaller bowl first before I add them because that's the way that my mother taught me and that's the way that I have always done it. So just put the eggs right in there. And then you just mix that in. And then once you've mixed the eggs in, you want to add the water. And you add 1/4 cup of water. And pour that in. And I always mix in between I add ingredients just to make sure that all the ingredients are mixed up. And it makes it easier whenever you are actually mixing all of it. And then once you've added the water and the eggs, finally you add the oil. And the oil makes it very hard to mix, so you have to really mix it really well because especially at the bottom, the mix tends to clump up and you want to get it as creamy as possible. The more lumps you have in there, all of that is unmixed brownie mix from the beginning that you don't want in your thing because you don't want to bite into your brownie and still have uncooked mix in there. A good time to stir the mixture is about 1.5 minutes. You want to mix it until all the bumps are gone. Next, after you mix it, you want to find the right pan. I usually use a pan about this size. It's good for smaller ovens like I have in my apartment. So once you're done mixing, You just pour your mix into the brownie pan. Just give it 1 or 2 more mixes. Like this. You want to make sure you mix it really well. It's probably the prime thing of making brownies. So once you've mixed it, you want to pour it into the pan, and you want to make sure that you cover all 4 corners of the pan, because if you don't, your brownies won't turn out even, and you want them to cook all the way through. So you want to make sure you get all of the mix out of the bowl. So you can get as much brownies. And then you make sure that your brownies are all over the edge like this. And then make sure that your pan is greased first. Then once you have put the mixture into the pan, you're going to take the pan and you slide it into the center of your oven that is preheated at 350 degrees. You want to cook them for about 28 minutes, and you need to remember to check on them. I would say about the first 20 minutes, I would go check on them to see if they're done. If not, you can test it. You can take a toothpick and stick it right in the center, and if you pull it up and there's still brownie batter on there, then they're not done. But if you stick a toothpick in there and you take it out and it's clean, that's a good indicator that they're done. So you can take the pan, about 30 minutes, you can take the pan out and you can sit it on the top of your burners, and you want to let it cool for about 5 to 7 minutes, and that'll make sure that when you cut the brownies that they don't stick to the pan, and that you can get the perfect square brownies that you need. And they go great with milk. Now there are several different ways to execute this recipe. You can always look online and find different ones. They have all sorts of different flavors, such as peppermint, caramel, and white chocolate. Although I've only tasted the milk chocolate ones, I'm sure that the other ones are just as good. Remember, you can always tweak the recipe to make it your own. I've now shown you the proper way to make, bake, and cool brownies. Don't be afraid to try them on your own. Even the worst cooks might find this recipe simple and enjoyable. Remember to have fun and grab a friend and do it together. Enjoy those tasty treats!